Good morning. I'm not the first to speak on this. I'm called to share in my own words the experience. Come closer. I more recently had reached bottom. And what I mean is, after a lifetime plus of constant personal growth work, after surviving, period, I reached the void, the bottom. I've spent the majority of the last 4 years on my own. No noise, intermittent distractions of various sorts, but mostly silent. I was more recently reaching the point of brutal realism, in the sense of recognizing with solidity something I've known all along, that there is no structure to humanity. Humans are just another species of animal with ego, but really feeling the full depth of that, where it was feeling like I was no longer just free falling, but landed hard. Recognizing there is no purpose, there's just life. And carrying the weight of freedom in recognizing that. A lot of people tout that they want freedom until they understand what that really means. What freedom really means is recognizing we are each the sole carrier of our own experience. And for rough scaling, I'll say humans are the ants of the earth. And it's not to say that ants are purposeless in that sense. They are just as purposeless as we are, in the sense that ants are ants to us. Humans are ants of the Earth. The Earth is, and the planets of the solar system are ants of this galaxy, and this galaxy is the ant of the universe, right? I was struggling to find a reason to keep living, or rather to keep existing, and could not tap into aliveness. And reached a point of, if I don't find some new perspective on this, after spending an eternity trying to find a solution to this discontentment, I'm not going to stick around. And I already tried the dying thing. I clinically died from suicide in 2021, January 15th, 2021. That didn't work out for me. Something kept me here. So I'm not convinced that's going to be the answer. I already tried it. So I tried something different. I gathered new information, or rather, gathered information in more solid sourcing. And I very much resonate with a lot of Jungian concepts. And Alan Watts, to a limited degree. And so exploring other philosophers, theorists, beings, I don't like the word theorist. I kept having this mindset of, there must be something more that I can do. I've carried myself mostly on my own thus far. So there must be something more I can do to fix this problem of reason. But there's a couple overlapping proposals from some philosophers. Which together roughly have this idea that humans, or the human brain, was given access to conceptualizing consciousness, but the human brain wasn't equipped with what was required to handle that. It's a very unsettling idea, but it's the one that makes the most sense to me. As an HSP, INFJ, Jungian, introverted, intuitive, I've always been able to see past the veil of illusion and that expanding. I've reached the point of clear vision where I can now even see the veil itself between me and other people most often. There's very few fleeting moments collectively in this body's experience of just no veil. This is something we all have access to. We all, human beings, all have access to. I think there is an inherent flaw in human consciousness experience without the equipment to solidify the conceptualization of consciousness. So with that in mind, it makes it make sense to me why so many human people choose to avoid everything. I don't, on a soul level, understand not being able to see at all the illusions. I feel I was born into that vision. However, it makes it so that I can understand that it's a human brain problem. I'm not quite grasping what I mean here. Let me hone in on self, right? Hone in on me. I was trying to find some way to feel better, a reason to keep existing when I want to live, with the concept I have just expressed in mind, that the human brain was given access to awareness of consciousness without the equipment to handle that. The quote comes to mind: "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." It's not that something in me needs to be fixed. It's everything humanly around me, 99.1%, is an illusion that everyone just kept nodding and agreeing with out of discomfort of deviating from the pack. Everyone, 99.1%, just abandon themselves for the collective. None of what's happening is working for anyone. More human people are becoming aware of this, it's just agonizing, slow, painful, both for those who are growing into it and for those who are observing it. I have come to recognize and accept, or rather am accepting, 3/4 of the way to acceptance, that the world I dreamed up, the world that I was fed the illusion of, does not exist. There's just me, the eternity of each moment, and whatever happens around me. There is no certainty. There is no final destination of comfort. They're just. Seeing that gives me life. As in, it's there the whole time. I see it without veil, without illusion, without mask. Just life itself. Not human life, not the experience, just life itself is all there is. There's no plan, no organization. There just is. There's, within the same space, there is energy which balances itself. That said, there just is. Life is. Dropping, so not just leaning into this discomfort like I've done for years, but sitting at the very bottom of absolute pitch black darkness and not fidgeting in it, not screaming in it, just being in it. Absolute uncertainty by choice. Doing nothing there until it makes enough sense to live. That's what I did this week. It is the reason that people refuse to be in silence. It is the reason human people keep busy. It is the reason that human people are dystopian in the mass majority. It is to avoid the very thing I just did. It's to avoid the work I've done and the core of it being that moment, that eternity sitting silent with life is. Once that is recognized, there's no going back. There may be a few moments in the future where I sort of fall into the illusion, experience fear over things that don't matter. But ultimately, I sat at the bottom. I've already experienced that. So I can revisit that more easily next time I need to. For my fellow labelless labelings, INFJs, HSPs, introverted intuitives under Jungian concepts. If you are feeling like you have been racking your head around a solution, perspective, and answer, you say to yourself, everything is stressful all the time and wrong. I need to find some way to make this manageable. Sit with what is. Sit with it, recognizing it will not hurt you. It will not harm you to do so. The ego, the self-preservation, the brain will try to make it this thing of, if you do that, something terrible will happen. But really, you're just sitting in a room without noise. See that life is. And feel how that is. That's all I got. If you're simply existing, it's probably a good thing. It means you have your wits about you. Carry on.